Welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. So, where we last left off, let's just say Anji visited a few, people that are related to the Ushiro Miya family to see if she can get some answers. And she then visited the boat captain, and just so she can ask to whether he can take her to Rokujima or not as part of her destination visit of the sort. And she was the boat captain was accepted the offer, and then everything went smooth sailing. And then Anji found like some sort of shadow thing. It was like something that I couldn't see, in which I couldn't really tell to whether it's important or not. Actually, it could be, because it was hinting something that was the whatchamacallit. Maybe there was some sort of it was foreshadowing an answer. That was about it. Anyway, enough rambling. I think I should continue. Once again, there was a call from Kraus to the guest house, and the message was that Kinzo wanted to hold a test to see if the grandchildren had the qualifications to become his successor.
当主様は次期当主をお父さんたちの兄弟からではなく孫たちの中から選びたいとそうおっしゃっている。
Pretty dire. From Kraus's restrained style of speech, Jessica realized as his daughter that he was being forced to speak, and she was forced to realize that the hostages were being exposed to danger even now, and that if they refused this test, there was a possibility that the hostages would be harmed.
それで私たちはどうすればいいの?
I don't know. Are we gonna end up like sitting ducks at some point? Kraus put down the receiver, then looked at the grinning Kinzo on the other side of the bars. Kinzo gave his next order.
テストの前に無関係なものを排除しなくてはならない。郷田と熊沢がそこにいるのであろう。テストに干渉されては邪魔なのでな。彼らをゲストハウスより追放せよ。
追放ですか。
バラ庭園に園芸倉庫があったはず。そこへ郷田と熊沢を閉じ込めて施錠せよ。
Wow, gonna lock those two humans in there?
まずはそれからだ。
That's crazy.
直ちに遂行するように伝えよ。我が武具たちが監視する。疑わしい行為に及べばテストは直ちに中止し、お前たちすべてを生贄として処刑する。
わかりました。もしもしジェシカ。今から父さんの言うことをよく聞きなさい。
Kraus relayed the orders to lock up Goda and Kumasawa.
どんなテストをなさるつもりですか?
実に簡単なテストだとも。孫たちの覚悟を見せてもらうだけだ。さて、どんな結果を見せてくれるのか。
Looking disgusted, Kairi watched Kraus, who was talking with the children. I hate it, but for now, we cannot refuse orders. In this dungeon, a feeble resistance won't amount to anything. If we provoke him too much and drive him into a position where he might kill us, there will no longer be any way to stop this murder. For now, the only choice left is to obey his rules without agitating him, all the while waiting for an opportunity. However, if we continue to obediently follow his commands, the children might be attacked in this so-called test, and they might even lose their lives. Whether we feign obedience or try to resist, nothing will cause the situation to improve. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation, and of course nothing will improve. Anyway, straining our eyes so that we don't let a single chance escape until the very end is the only resistance possible now. While telling herself this, Kairi watched over Kraus as he delivered Kinzo's orders.
キリエさん、ここは辛抱しましょ
分かってるわ。悔しいけれど今は待つしかない。この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば私たちは屋敷へ戻ることができるんだから。
う。なんとかここを出られれば試してみましょう。金蔵さん、頼みがある。
ん？何か我が友よ。
金蔵さんが子供たちを試したいというのはよくわかった。金蔵さんの納得のいくようにするといい。金蔵さんの力がなければとっくに潰れていたかもしれない後ろ宮家だ。その担い手を慎重に選びたい気持ちよくわかる。それにそのための親族会議だ。私ら邪魔はせんよ。
お前の理解が得られて助かる。そうだ、これは親族会議なのだ。私が次期当主を選び決定する最後の親族会議なのだよ。
Well, that didn't get anywhere, did it?
それでだが金蔵さん、ここはあまりに冷えすぎる。あんたのテストの邪魔はせんから、もう少し暖かい場所に移してもらうことはできんかね。
At Nanjo's words, the slight signs that Kinzo's mood had been improving were glowing. Oh man, I can't even take Kinzo's face seriously. The Kinzo's like, huh? The slight signs that Kinzo's mood had been improving were blown away. Nanjo was struck with a moment of silence as Kinzo gazed at him with dangerous eyes, as though appraising him.
確かにここは冷えますね。老体にはおつらいでしょう。親方様、上の部屋に移し替えても良いのでは。
You know, I don't know if it's true enough. So, from what I was told, you know, the older you are, like if you're like middle-aged to elderly, if you're in a place that is really cold, it's actually bad for the body. So if anything, like anywhere like warm or hot is to where like you're mostly is mostly the temperature they get used to, especially on frail bodies. So.
それはできぬ。甘いぞ南條。お前は一手猶予を与えるような素振りで実に華麗に布石を打つではないか。その手には乗らんぞ。凍えるというなら真っ赤に焼けた石炭でも敷き詰めてやればよい。
Well,
申し訳ございません。
Vergilia had tried to help out, but in the end, Kinzo would not comply.
あなたたちはおとなしいのね。その気になればこんな鉄格子簡単に破れるでしょうに。
No words.
ここを破ったとて何もなりません。
確かにここを破ったならゴールドスミスのゲームが終わることを意味する。あなたたちもそしてゲストハウスの人間たちも即座に金蔵の儀式の生贄となるでしょうね。でも案外あなたたちだけかもしれないわよ。この状況を打開できる力を持っているのはね。黄金鏡にたどり着きたいんでしょ。叶えたい夢がいっぱいあるんでしょ。
ガープ、挑発はいけませんよ。これはあなたのゲームではない。
Ronald just straight up just stepped in.
親方様の、そしてお嬢様のゲームです。
どうしたロノウェイ。
いえいえ何も。捕虜とおしゃべりをしていました。お許しを。
Gap sent one final sneering smile at Canon, then turned away. Canon could only bite his lower lip and shake his fist.
くそ。
よく頑張ったね。よく我慢したよ。
僕たちは無力だ。家具だから。
そうだね。私たちは無力。でも家具は必要とされることだって、そして愛されることだってあるよ。今の私たちは暗い地下室にしまわれているだけ。きっといつか誰かが愛してくれる、必要としてくれるから。だから今は挑発に乗らないで耐えようね。
お父さん、ゴーダたちを倉庫に閉じ込めるよう指示をしました。
よかろう。電話を切ってよい。シエスタ姉妹、孫たちがゴーダと熊沢を閉じ込めるのを監視せよ。もしも不審な動きがあるようならば、その時点で次期当主を選ぶテストは終了だ。
Well, when Kinzo made his order, the Chiester sisters appeared behind him in a line.
了解であります。石膏は私がやる。556と410は両翼支援。
556 and 410 will cover both flanks.
45は全周警戒。
00-556は。
そうだった。すまない。
いい子でした。だから私は嫌いに。いいやつは。
何をしているかシエスタ姉妹、我が命令を遂行せよ。
失礼しました。では監視に向かうであります。
Wait, what? They mentioned 556. Oh. Yeah, 45, 410. Double. What happened to 556? It was. I know it was new. I don't know what happened. Let us go observe.
出撃
I guess 556 got already killed off beforehand. I don't know, but it's hinting another character that I don't know. The Shiester sisters erased their forms simultaneously. Nanjo and Kairi, however you call it, had witnessed the instant they appeared and disappeared, as if by teleportation. But they interpreted this as moving in and out of the darkness in a way that only looked like teleportation. And the two could do nothing but rub their eyes.
さて、私はテストの準備をしよう。ロノウェイ、ガープ。お前たちには試験官を頼む。ワルギリアはこやつらを監視するように。何しろ我が家具が2人いる。一応は警戒せよ。
He glanced at Shannon and Kenna. Tightly closing her eyes, Shannon gave a silent bow and answered wordlessly, avoiding any unnecessary actions.
かしこまりました。注意します。
リーヤの老体には寒くて辛くない？湯たんぽでも持ってくる？
What the fuck?
うるさいです。早く追いきなさい。ガップ。
Damn. Ronald just butts in and laughs.
さてさて、テストとは、そして試験官とは、今回のゲームは変わった試みですね。お嬢様を楽しませる展開になると良いのですが。
さあさあおいでなさい、ヤギの従者たち。
Virgilia began to call out into the darkness, and from that spot, 3 massive goat-headed attendants suddenly appeared. Well, it's hella goated.
リーチェの眷属ね。便利だわ。しかも暖かそうだし。ああ、湯たんぽの代わりね。なら、ヤギより羊の方がいいんじゃない？
I kind of understood that joke, but sure.
カシミヤ臓器のくせにうるさいですよ。彼らは賢くはありませんが、命令に忠実で強靭な頼れる従者たちです。
うん、任せるぞ。我が友ワルギリアよ。残りの者は私と来い。
With a dignified gesture, Kinzo fluttered his cloak. Following him were Ronolf and Ga, as well as the 3 recently summoned goat attendants.
あなたたちは私と残るのですよ。ついていかないように。
The goats jumped in surprise and then came tottering back. Kairi, who had been watching stunned as all of this played out, couldn't help but snort.
愉快な部下ね。
Pretty goofy.
ゴールドスミス卿より死後の許可は与えられていませんよ。
She was probably embarrassed. Virgilia had spoken coolly, but Kairi saw through that, and for a little while, she couldn't restrain her muffled laughter. However, on the inside, Kairi was surprised at the number of people Kinzo had with him. After all, including Kinzo himself, at least 10 enemies had already been spotted. The dungeon they were currently locked in was supposedly underneath the hidden mansion, called Kuwadorian. Although this mansion had been whispered of, not even Kraus had known of its existence until today. are there actually several facilities like this on Rokujima where many unknown henchmen that only Kinzo knows of hide? Just how many humans are on Rokujima, locked away by the typhoon? No, on the contrary. Were we the only ones under the impression that there were only 18 people on this island? Were we, who bickered over whether Beatrice existed or not and worried about whether a 19th person existed or not, nothing more than the frogs in a well on this island? No, wait, not only that, by now, are there actually more people on the enemy's side than on ours?
何が起こってるの一体。魔女？悪魔？魔法？それを信じろというの？おかしいのは私の目？それとも頭なの？
Whether it's an illusion or entire or being part of a delusion, that's all up to you.
頭がどうにかなりそうよ。
Oh, yeah. We're all losing our shit. A mass murder by magic, demons forming and disappearing into thin air. Setting aside the enemy's numbers, how should we interpret the various things thrust before our eyes that cannot be explained with the common sense of our world? Kairi started to feel like she didn't know what was going on anymore, and while desperately battling the urge to abandon everything and give up, she grit her teeth and tried to hold on to her sanity. Oh, we're at the garden warehouse. I think this is going to be interesting. Obviously, Goda and Kumasawa were quite unwilling to be locked in the Rose Garden shed, but they were threatened that if they resisted, the hostages' safety could not be guaranteed. It was fairly hard to get them to agree, but once they started thinking that their safety might actually be guaranteed if the key to the gardening storehouse was to be handed to them after being shut inside, and when it was decided that blankets of food would be carried in for them, they were finally convinced. I mean, hey, if you're gonna be locked in for a while, you might as well have something to eat, right?
ここは寒々しいですね。私たちはいつまでここに閉じ込められていればいいのでしょうか。
Good question.
下手をすると月曜の朝まで丸々一昼夜はいてもらうことになるかもしれない。本当にお二人には申し訳なく思うよ。
I mean, you're in a lose-lose situation regardless, and might as well have to, like, take it slow to stall out time. George and Battler cleared a space on the floor, then spread the blankets there. They also left the canned food, crackers, and other light snacks they had brought.
月曜の朝までを二人でこの量じゃ辛いな。せめて厨房に言われたなら。
If only.
余計な場所には行くなと言われてる。
So we can't even go to the kitchen to get some extra food? That's a bummer.
私たちは監視されてるらしいしな。
Oh shit, no kidding. They brought in the Chiesta sisters, so...
何もお力になれないことを申し訳なく思います。こんな時に皆さんのおそばにいてこその私どもなのに。
仕方ないです。それより熊沢さんをよろしく頼みますね。何が起こるかわからない。いざという時は臨機応変に助けてほしい。そして何よりも無事でいてほしい。
ええ、分かっています。皆さんこそ気をつけてくださいね。今の親方様はまるで人の命をチェスの駒のように奪います。気をつけてください。
I mean, he is indeed. Golda stared at the floor, even now unable to believe what had happened as he remembered that atrocity in the dining hall, and he hung his head in shame at his failure to fully describe that terror.
ありがとう。くれぐれも注意してくださいね。熊沢さんも。
ジョージさんたちもくれぐれもご用心なさってくださいね。もう私には何が何やらさっぱりわかりませんとも。
それじゃあ僕たちは行きます。行こう、バトラ君、ジェシカちゃん。ほら、マリアちゃんも。
Looking at the pitiful expressions on the imprisoned pair's faces, it got really hard to close the shutter. But we can't disobey. We're being watched. The shutter was brought down and locked. Then, George walked toward the small window on the side of the storehouse. At that side, there was a small, matiste window that could only emit light and ventilation. It looked like something from a jail, making the two of them seem even more pitiful. But on the other hand, it would hopefully protect them from Kinzo and his subordinates. He opened the window and called out.
大丈夫ですか？寒くないですか？
ええ。毛布をこんなにいただきましたからね。くるまっていればきっと平気ですよ。
石油ストーブとかを持ってくればよかったな。
ここじゃ換気できないからね。辛いだろうけど今は仕方がない。僕たちは人質を取られている。逆らえない。
畜生。なんとかキレイさんたちを救出することができれば。
聞かれてるかもしれないよ。ゴーダさん、これそのシャッターの鍵です。
George threw the key in through the tiny window.
確かにお預かりします。
Golda took the key, showed it to Kumasawa, and placed it in his own pocket. There was only one key to the garden shed's shutter. That key was being held by the ones locked up inside it. If the children had kept it and had it stolen from them by some chance, that would do nothing but expose the lives of those in the shed to danger. And even with the key, the shutter could not be opened from the inside. Kinzo's demands were fulfilled this way. However, there was now no longer any way to open the shed from the outside either. This protected them. Kinzo had ordered that they be confined, and we could do nothing but trust that this cold, closed room would protect them. Jessica watched this while holding Maria's hand, then looked over the thickets in the pitch-black rose garden. Somewhere in this darkness, somebody was hiding, watching to see whether we obeyed orders or not. Of course, when we pointed our flashlights out there, no suspicious silhouettes appeared. But somebody was surely out there, hiding and watching. I was hit many times with an urge to scream at them, but I was able to hold that urge back through reason. They updating this in characters though? No, not yet. The four children left the area, repeatedly looking back over their shoulders. The light from the faint light bulb in the gardening storehouse was seeking out slightly. I wonder if this insane accident will come to an end somehow, so that we can meet those two again. To George, who had closed the shutter himself, the resistance of the lock had made it feel as though he killed them with his own hands.
それでも俺たちは逆らえないんだよな。
テスト とだと。クソじじいめ、ふざけやがって。それで母さんたちが殺されて父さんたちが捕まって、理解できねえぜ。ぶっ殺してやる。
大丈夫だよ、ジェシカお姉ちゃん。悲しくなんかないよ。
マリア。
もうすぐ魔女は蘇る。
Oh boy.
すぐに黄金鏡で会えるよ。あいて。
不謹慎なことで笑うんじゃねえぜ。何が魔女復活の儀式だ。妄想はじいさまの頭の中だけにしときゃいいものを大勢巻き込みやがって。こいつは高くつくぜ。畜生め。
ゲストハウスに戻ろう。おじい様から電話があった際に不在だったらまずい。
Urged on by George, everyone began walking towards the guest house. At that moment, Jessica turned in a circle, facing towards the darkness of the rose garden, and roared.
おい、誰か見てんだろ。ジジイに伝えとけ。絶対にぶち殺してやるってな。行こう。
How was she gonna do it though? That's the thing. Like, I remember in the past few episodes, she keeps saying that over and over again. It's like, well, I mean, there were times she was acting like a little bit of a pugilist, but that was only in episode 2 when she was being a bit of a when it was a bit goofy. Of course, there was no reply, only the howl of the wind and rain. The children returned to the guest house, while fearing what was waiting for them up ahead. After they left, from the exact point in the darkness that Jessica had yelled at, 2 rabbit ears sprung up. Wait, what? Wait, what? I don't... Huh. Well then. Oh, the rain got cut off. They got found out?
45がすっとろいからバレたに。
I don't know about these Chiester rabbit sisters. They act like they follow orders like soldiers, but they act like a meme. That's like the downside of it.
竜王様に怒られる。
Pendragon? You know, the name Pendragon sounds so familiar as well. I mean, I'm not gonna make that freaking pop reference, but yeah.
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。竜王様に言いつけるのは許してくださ
い。黙れ、静かに。どうせハッタリだ。郷田と熊沢の監禁は確認した。任務完了。報告に戻るぞ。
イエーイイエーイ
Yay, yay. Okay, that's just a bit too obnoxious. Yeah, that's what I thought.
連帯責任で人参と水だけの刑になりたいか。
Good to know that Maria wasn't the only one getting hit in the head for being a laughing buffoon.
行くぞ。
Of course, Double O gotta pay this green-haired Chiester sister a lesson. she just does. Just a little shrug. Wow, insane. All right. God. Like, you call this serious writing? This is some goofy shit right there. Like, they just add in there. The fact that they were being watched certainly seemed to be true, because when they returned to the cousin's room, turned the lights on, and laid down on their beds, the phone rang again. Earlier, Jessica had been answering the phone, seeing as this was her house, but now it was the eldest, George, who picked it up. This time, Kairi-san was on the other end of the line. George handed it to Battler out of consideration.
もしもし、キリエさんか。そっちは大丈夫なのか。
心配をありがとう。今のところは快適よ。ごめんなさい。死後は慎めと命令されてる。今から伝えることをよく聞いて。
The fact that they were hostages still hadn't changed. Kinzo, or one of his subordinates, was listening to the conversation. Battler restrained her urge to talk about other things and focused on what Kairi had to say.
テストはジェシカちゃん、ジョージ君、バトラ君、そしてマリアちゃんの順で行われるそうよ。順番に呼び出すから、それまでその部屋を出ないこと。呼び出された者は一人で指定された場所に向かうこと。
Battler repeated out loud so that the cousins listening in around him could hear.
ジェシカ、兄貴、俺、マリアの順で呼び出しがあるまで部屋にいろ。だな。わかった。
I wonder if I can just make this joke that the whole entirety of this whole witches game or is not only chess. This sounds like some real magical Hunger Game shit. I don't know.
マリアもなのかや。9歳の子にまでクソジジイは何を強いる気なんだ。畜生め。
後ろ宮家の命運はあなたたちに握られてるわ。頑張って。
うん。ああ。
Battler noticed a strange nuance in Kairi's words. Even without any blood connection, he could still understand thanks to the long-lasting bond they shared. At this point, it doesn't make sense to worry about the Ushiromiya family itself. That probably wasn't the message Kairi wanted to send. She probably meant there's no way for us to escape from this dungeon, and we can only wait to be rescued. Our lives are in your hands. Something like that.
ああ、任せてくれ。どんなテストか知らねえが上等だぜ。受けて立ってやら。本気のテストなんだよな。マジにやっちまっていいんだよな。
Is this like some sort of like a fight? Are we fighting to the death? Is that the type of test?
ええ、本気のテストよ。おじい様も本気で試すつもりでいるわ。
Yeah, but he doesn't really specify what to do on the test. But I'm pretty sure I already know what the test would be like by now.
ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ。
Like always.
死にかけの老いぼれが俺と本気？寝言は棺に入ってから言いやがれ。そこにいるジジイに言っとけ。次期当主は俺だ。その最初の仕事はてめえの面に鉄拳ぶち込んでやることだってな。
You know, it'll be kind of a meme if he said like, I'm gonna shove my fist up your ass. Shove my fist, but shove the fist into his face. Fair enough. Look, listen, I can joke. Let me just joke around from time to time. Like I remember I remember I was getting a YouTube comment from the same subscriber that told me about the the 72 demons, and I'm like, well, I didn't even notice beforehand, and second of all, I was just like I was joking around. I mean, I don't know if I have to memorize the the demon names as part of it, like for like in case I want to like solve some sort of mystery or some shit. But I'm pretty sure like one day, maybe one day, eventually. Even without Kyrie having to repeat it, Battler's powerful declaration of war reached Kinzo's ears. Oh, ah, damn. A little bit of a jump scare again.
バトラー、それは実に楽しみであるぞ。一度は後ろ宮の名を捨てた男が何を身につけ、何の境地に至って我が前に現れるというのか、楽しみにしている。そう伝えよ。
Unfortunately, Kinzo's voice was not picked up by the receiver. Therefore, Kyrie spoke for him.
大いに上等だそうよ。いいバトラ君。手加減は不要よ。あなたはルドルフさんの息子。いいえ、私の息子よ。誰に自慢しても恥ずかしくないところを私にも見せてちょうだい。
Well, Kyrie and Valor are not blood related, but they do show the family bond. It's like Anji and Kyrie are, from what I remember, are blood related, but you know, both Anji and Badler are not. They're just like half siblings. But the thing about Anji is like Anji looks up to Badler as a role model. So there's that I remember in mind, but who knows? Maybe there are there are some really odd. There is something suspicious when it comes to Kyrie, though. That's the thing. Like, if you remember, when it comes to the third episode, there is pretty questionable stuff. I won't specify this in further detail, so I can, unless I'm doing like a character tier list. But you know, there's that.
あなたに全てを託すわ。
了解だぜ、母ちゃん。
Oh hey, Balor called Kyrie mom for once. That's like the first time he said that. Like usually the previous episodes, Balor calls the stepmom Kyrie. Considering it's it's the stepmom, but seems got a little bit of a touching moment there.
あとは任せておけ。
私たち全員は当主跡継ぎの資格を失っている。もう私たちは取られてゲーム版から外された駒も同然よ。だからあなたたちだけで戦って。
キリエさん。
The nuance of those words was, "We've already given up, so forget about us. But for that very reason, I won't give up. I won't give up. I'll definitely crush this test, or whatever, and save everyone."
それでは一番最初のジェシカちゃんへのテストの指示よ。自分の部屋へ行けですって。
自分の部屋
Really? Go to your room? What's your game, you damn geezer?
お屋敷のジェシカちゃんの自室って意味のよね。
ジェシカに代わる。直接伝えてやってくれ。ジェシカ。
もしもし。はい。わかりました。
もう覚悟決めたぜ。行ってくるぜ。
Even Jessica was probably tempted to succumb to the fear of a girl of her age, but she crushed those feelings and strengthened her resolve.
用心してね。
私たちは監視されてんだろ。余計なこともできない。言いなりになるしかないさ。
食堂でジジイは何のためらいもなく瞬く間に6人を殺したという。それは俺たちに対しても同じかもな。
分かってる。返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
無茶はダメだよ。危険だと思ったら自分を最優先にして。クラウスおじさんが自分のために娘が犠牲になったことを知ったら胸が張り裂けてしまうに違いないから。
逆も同じだぜ。父さんと母さんが殺されて私だけが生き残ったら私の胸だって張り裂けるぜ。
バトラ君、さっきの話は本当だよね。
ああ、キリエさんたちはもう覚悟を決めている。
ならなおのこと上等だぜ。みんなの命は私たちの双剣にかかってるってことだ。人質みんなは囚われの身で何もできない。なら私たちが何とかするしかねえんだぜ。
もし何かあったらゲストハウスに逃げ戻って。その時点で僕たちがおじい様のゲームに付き合うのは終了だ。
兄貴。
Something happened, but yeah, but
その時点で僕たちは宣戦布告。どこかに閉じ込められている彼らを救い出し、おじい様には叱るべき処遇を与える。
いいのか兄貴。シャノンちゃんもいるんだろ。
だからといって僕は座して婚約者が殺されるのを待ちはしないよ。僕が恐ろしいのはおじい様にシャノンが殺されるかもしれないことに怯えることじゃない。僕の婚約者に恐怖を味わわせたクソじじいを君らが僕より先にぶん殴っちまうことだけさ。
he's just worried that you guys will get there first and clobber the damn geezer.
なるほどな。
That's a different expression on George and Jessica's face.
確かにこいつは次期当主が誰かを決めるってテストらしいぜ。
だな。クソジジイの顔面に一番最初に拳をお見舞いしたやつが次の当主だぜ。
The first one to bury the fist into that old face will be the next head of the entire family. Well, that sounds like a little bit of a goofy competition between the three. George, Badler, and Jessica each forcefully nodded their heads and put their fists together. Then Jessica headed off to her own room, as designated. Her form disappeared into the darkness of the rose garden, waving in the strong winds. Watching her go, George and Badler ripped their fists even tighter, making them quiver. Alright. This is a good time to end it from here. We're around 50 minutes in. So, as far as I know, things starting to be a bit more dire. the game has begun. So the three, the four, including Maria, are now the participants. As Jessica is now started to go to her own room, and I feel like the fight will begin anytime soon. So next part, let's see how that'll turn out with the whole game that Kinzo made. So, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. Have a good one.